welcome to another episode of Bosses Start Somewhere. I'm your host, Reilly Stith. And before we jump into it, we have an amazing episode. I'm so excited for who's on the show today. Please hit that subscribe button so that way you can subscribe to all things Bosses Start Somewhere. So now that we've gotten that out the way, my special guest is the one and only Maino in the building. I'm so excited. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, Maino, you're such a legend. You've lived a life most people only see and hear in headlines and in music. You've done so much for the culture. When you look back at the man you were at the start of your journey, what do you think he was really searching for?
Um, when I think back, I think that I was always searching for a way out. I was
Mm,
searching for a way out of, a life that I was accustomed to, but something in me wanted more. You understand?
wow.
You know, uh, the only two places I had been at that point were the streets and prison, and
Wow.
I just felt like there was a lot more out there. I felt like I had more to offer, and I was on a quest to try to figure that out by any means.
That's crazy. That's crazy. You know, you've spoken about survival, transformation, and everything in between, right?
hmm
So, what moment made you say, I'm not going to be defined by where I started?
just having that, we don't know how strong we are until we actually challenged, until we
Really
actually
fast.
put in positions to, pull out those reserve, pieces of hope, right? Just that strength. And being in prison forces you to either, face who you are or run from it. You either gonna become stronger or you're gonna succumb to the pressures. And I felt like it kind of helped me become a strong individual. I started to be like, you know what? I know this can't be my whole life. I don't want this to be, my entire life. I don't want to be defined by this. I know that I can do more. And so I would say it was being in prison that helped me feel like I can, spread my wings and do more.
Wow. Is that when the music journey began for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I had never rapped it before. And then
Wow.
I was in there, and I started to write rhymes. And it was a hobby. It was something to pass the time away. I was getting in trouble in there. I was always in special housing unit, the box, 23-hour lockdown, spending a lot of time in there. And music, just that I would get up in my cell and write a rhyme, and before I knew it, the whole half the day was gone, and it was just like something to do. The idea of becoming an artist was like very far fetched for me, but I started to actually really play with the idea, and I started to really believe, and
Wow.
that's where it starts.
Who discovered you?
Uh, I feel like a number of people helped me very, very early on. K Slade was very integral. DJ Clue, all the mixtape DJs in New York City during that time.
Wow. Wow.
All the
That's
mixtape
crazy.
DJs during that time was were helping me. The
Mm,
mixtape circuit, the DVD circuit, the Smack DVDs, All Access, Cocaine Cities. Um, Little Kim helped me very early on.
wow.
So yeah, it was a journey. I think I don't think it was just like one person. It was kind of like a community of people that I was like building with, and Cormega. Can't forget
Mm,
about Cormega. Cormega really threw me a real look very early on in my career that really helped me. You put me on a song really early on his album. It was really dope. So yeah. Got it.
it's
Can't forget
crazy
him.
because I grew up on Hi Hated. That was
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
my jam.
yeah,
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 yeah.
absolutely.
So as you mentioned, New York raised you, but it also
hmm
tested you.
hmm
So what do you feel the city taught you about yourself that no other place could have revealed?
I just feel like coming from New York, like if you could survive New York, if you can, um, if you can be productive in New York, you can really be great anywhere, right? It's just that city that is so hustle and bustle, it's so aggressive. You really gotta have you got to have a battery pack. You got to be really strong. You understand?
Yeah, yeah.
To deal with New York. So I feel like it taught me to survive. It taught me how to be strong. It taught me how to you can live off hope, right? You could if you faced with adversity, and put that hope in front of you, you can live off that. So it taught me how to keep going.
I love it. I love it. They say if you can survive in New York, right, you can survive anywhere.
Absolutely.
When your career first began, you had the talent, but as you mentioned, confidence comes later, right? So
Right.
what moment made you feel like I belong here? Like my voice matters.
I always, I don't know. I didn't always feel like I belonged in certain
Mm,
places. I didn't always feel that way. I felt, I was always underestimated, underappreciated. You know what I mean?
wow.
I didn't never feel like I've always gotten my flowers for so many different reasons. Whether it be my artistry, whether it be, fashion, whatever it is. I just felt like I was always kind of left out of some of those conversations. But it was cool because I always felt like, you know what? I kind of wasn't supposed to be here anyway, but I got here
Mm,
off of pure will. You understand? So I took it for what it was, and we don't always get the acclaim that we feel like we deserve, but it's cool.
yeah, no, that's facts. You've had to start over more than once.
hmm
So what did those early resets teach you about discipline, humility, patience?
It teaches you everything. These are the lessons that I learned from being in prison, right? Patience is a big thing. If you can sit in a prison cell for a decade, right? I mean, you should at some point have learned how to exercise patience.
Facts.
And you're gonna need it for this game because you're gonna be doing things that don't bring you automatic results. So that discipline, you have to apply it, right? So you're gonna know
Yeah,
that you're gonna start working, and you may not, see a return on what you're doing. It's the same thing opening a business. You
yeah.
open a business, you open a restaurant, you may not see a return in 3-4 years, like a real return. It was learning those things,
Mm,
right, prior to getting in the game, which
mm.
helped me be able to navigate.
The good and the bad always go together. So that
Absolutely,
preparation really made you like who you are today.
absolutely, absolutely. Without that, without having patience and a discipline, right, your expectations are gonna be all over, right, because you're gonna
Absolutely.
the patience, right, helps you to measure your expectation better, right.
Mm,
It helps you to like level it, like like, because when you don't have that, then it's like you expect, and then what happens when you expect and don't happen, you're disappointed. So I was able to kind of like, okay, I got it, you know what I mean, and just keep it moving.
keep it moving. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I saw something recently on your
Mhm.
social. You were
Yeah.
the principal for the day. Can you
Yeah,
talk a little bit about
I
that? I
was
was like, that's crazy.
I was the principal in the school in Brooklyn for a day.
That's what's up.
MS 671 in Brownsville, Brooklyn. It was dope, man.
Amazing.
Going in there, I realized principals have a real hard job.
Yes, they
Like
do.
I'm like, you know, you don't think about it as a child, like, because you in school, you in classes,
Hmm.
like you see the principal, and but the principal is the person that has to really, really, really be in tune with the kids,
Yeah.
teachers, okay,
Yeah.
staff,
Yeah.
and the parents. That's something
Period.
hard every single day. Like you gotta
Yeah.
you gotta be balancing that every day. Like what? That is
It's
so.
crazy.
Yeah. I was really I was excited because I had never done nothing like that before, but it was really fun, and I got a chance to really kick it with some of the kids, and we had some fun, and I gave them some words of encouragement. We talked about
Love
believing.
it.
Believing is the foundation to anything that you want, right? Anything that you see yourself doing, and you dreaming, but you gotta first believe. And other people may not believe in you, but we can't look for like acceptance. We can't look for to be confirmed and reassured through other people because they may just not believe. We gotta believe in ourselves. You just gotta have that mentality that I believe. So it was good.
I love it. I love it. When you think about everything you've lived, you've built, survived, what's one belief outside of believing that you want people to hold on to when they feel like their beginning doesn't necessarily look like their destiny?
Yeah. But if you believe hard enough, never give up.
Amen.
Never give up, because you can pivot, but never give up. You can pause,
Mm,
but never give up. You could take a break, You could take a breather. If you're tired, because it's a road. It's a journey, and on that journey, it's going to be peaks and valleys and hills. And sometimes you just hold up. I need a breath, but
Yeah.
don't quit. Don't
Yeah.
you
I
quit?
love that.
Yeah.
I love it so much. I see you're on the Angela Yee show. You're
Hmm.
co-hosting, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
are
yeah.
you heading more into the hosting like
Well, so
realm
we
of your
got
career now?
so I have podcast.
Yeah, of
Let's rap.
course.
Let's rap about it. Me, Jim Jones, Fab, um,
I would
Dave
love to get
Beast,
all of you on for
all
a
of us,
common
all of us.
conversation
We
because
just
y'all got
brothers.
some gems.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it's dope. But this is what I like about the game that it is today, right? So you
Yes.
got four brothers that are artists, and they actually being able to pivot and do different things. That the game is
Yeah.
wide open for that, right? Doesn't
Yeah.
mean that you have to stop rapping. Doesn't
Yeah.
mean that you stop doing what makes you happy. It just means that you just multifaceted, and I love that we're able to do so many different things at the same time. And I implore people to do those things. Like, you don't have to be a one trick pony.
Yo, you're hitting home for me. And I do want to say
Yeah,
your motivational reels that you were putting out really got
yeah,
me through a lot of some hard times. So
yeah.
I was super excited to have you on the show because you always drop so many
Right.
words of wisdom.
Yeah.
I can't thank you enough for your time, your words of wisdom, your energy. Like, you're definitely an inspiration to a lot of us,
Thank you.
rap or no rap. And
Thank
it's
you.
an honor to have you here on the show. So
Thank you.
for those of you who have listened in, you heard the man. Don't stop believing. Never give
Stop
up. Have
believing.
that patience and that
That's right.
humility. And we'll be back hopefully with a Where Are You Now in the future. So thank you so much for
All right.
tuning in, and I'll see
Thank you
you
for having
soon.
me. All right.
Of course. Thank you for being here.
All right. Bye.